This is the Horsepower Hour.
Yes, hello, and welcome to another Horsepower Hour. Back from a little bit of a hiatus here, Coy. Apologies to everyone out there last week. Well, so, I mean, listen, it's an automotive podcast. It's also kind of a comedy podcast, but I will get real for just a second. We had some real bad stuff happen last week. I had surgery on my foot. Then a couple of days later, we had a barn fire here. And then a couple of days after that, my cat, rip in peace, Thomas. He finally made his way across the Rainbow Bridge. I'd had that cat for 19 years, Coy. You believe that?
Yeah, we were all living in the apartment in Salem.
Mm-hmm.
And I would have been 18-ish.
Yeah.
And I'm going on 36 now. So yeah. It's been a minute.
Coy used to hate that cat because it liked to walk across his convertible S2000 and leave giant paw prints.
Mm-hmm.
And I used to tell Coy, well, how do you even know that it's my cat? And then Coy would say, because no one else in the neighborhood has a puma for a pet.
I've realized it's a cat thing. Like, I've had a convertible long enough that they just want to walk on your car. I think I showed you the video of the other day of one of my wife's cats.
Mm-hmm.
You could see the muddy tracks where it walked up the hood of the MR2.
Oh, I was at your house. You showed me, yeah.
Somehow down the driver's side sill of the door.
Mm-hmm.
Between the door and the mirror, there's prints all the way around, across the trunk, and then from there he went up onto the cloth convertible, possibly sunned or something, then did a loop and came back down onto the trunk, motor area.
Mm-hmm.
Then down the passenger side sill, crossed his own tracks across the hood and hopped down.
Yeah.
Like, there's no way that's not a fuck you.
It's okay. So it could be, you could construe it as vindictive if he took a steaming shit on top of your car. But since he didn't do that, I'm just going to say it was probably like an obstacle course.
There were no obstacles. Like, he did a pattern of the whole car.
All right. Fair enough. I'm just saying, I'm trying to help you out here.
Look, he laid on top of the car. Everybody's like, oh, they lay on the hood of cars because the engine's warm. Engine's in the freaking back, guys, on this car. They still get on my car and lay on the hood. It's just, it has nothing to do with warmth.
Well, I think they're all assholes, except for my sweet, beautiful angel, who was not an asshole. He was the best cat in the world, and he will be sorely, sorely missed. Also, you might have missed us the week before last, if you were trying to watch on Facebook, because I had caught a ban from Facebook. It was the stupidest thing. So somebody had posted a dumb meme, and I was like, hey, buddy, and I tagged him, and I said, send nudes. Facebook, instantly, the second I posted send nudes, they banned me, and they said that I was trying to solicit a sexual act from my buddy. So that was cool. And then this morning, I actually caught another 3-day ban, and there was no reason. They said your photo goes against community terms or whatever
standards,
the word. Yeah. But I couldn't see the photo. It didn't show me the photo. It had already been removed somehow. I don't know. And so I disputed it, and hey, it was gone. So now we're back, and hopefully people are watching from Facebook. Let us know in the comments. I see Devin McCracken's here. Thank you, Devin, for joining. Jake is here joining us. Thank you, my friend. And I want to thank all of you out there for tuning in. I want to thank you for telling a friend about the show. The word of mouth is really the only thing that keeps us going with this show, and we sure do appreciate it. If you like the show, please feel free to share it out with a friend. Leave us a like, leave us a comment,
leave us a review, guys. The show's free.
Mm-hmm.
I ask for one thing in return. Just drop us a review.
Mm-hmm.
Get you just, on that little iTunes tab, when you click on it, you scroll the bottom, click write a review.
Yeah.
Super easy.
And if you're on Facebook or you're watching the video and you want to leave us a review on Facebook, it's just facebook.com/The Horsepower Hour. You can go over there and leave us a review. We sure would appreciate that. Please and thank you. Aaron Samuelson's joining. Thank you, my friend, for being here. Coy, it has been a wild week, dude. A wild week. And I thought, honestly, I would be spending more time online like checking stuff out.
Mhm.
But instead, my wife has really kicked in the honeydew list while I'm sitting on the couch into overdrive.
Mhm.
And so I've had a hard time keeping up with some of the automotive news coming in. But you sent me a couple articles that really it's like good news and bad news from Ford. I shouldn't say bad news. We don't know if it's going to be bad news yet or not. But I did want to talk about this first article that you sent me. The 2021 Ford Bronco finishes third in the Nora Mexican 1000 rally. I shouldn't have
Yes.
said 1000. I should have just said Nora 1000.
Probably.
Yeah.
Nora Mexican 1000 rally. Yes. You know, that's one thing I love about the Ford Bronco. When you're in automotive media and you're like, man, what do we talk about this week? And you're like, well, let's just see what Broncos release now, because pretty much every week, I would say every 10 days, we get a nice juicy tidbit.
Mhm.
So Ford sent a couple engineers down to the Mexican Nora 1000 rally.
Mhm.
They sent a nearly stock four-door Bronco, and they placed third in it. So this Bronco had a cage, had racing seats put in it, and some auxiliary lighting. Other than that, this was just like a Sasquatch package Bronco. Like, this is near completely stock.
And you can see from the photos, and you can follow the links underneath if you're listening to the podcast. You can see all the photos that are being posted at Ford Authority. Yeah, this looks like a stock. I mean, it's stock ride height. Look at that.
Yeah, no, this is.
It looks totally stock.
And I mean, they even make mention. They put it in the Baja mode and stuff when they're on some like dry lake beds and did 100 miles an hour. And yeah, so if you are considering buying one of these or you're on the pre-order list, once again, Ford's, testing it where it should be, and it apparently did quite well.
Jeez, that's incredible. We've been talking about Broncos so much, but they are just taking the off-road world by storm, aren't they?
I've said it 10 times before this. I'm going to say it 10 times after this. The marketing team for these Broncos is so good. They release just enough information to keep us hooked all the time.
Mhm.
I still don't know that much about the Bronco. Like, if you just sat me down and be like, well, it's going to come with a 35-inch Goodyears, and I don't know, it's not out yet. Like, that's all I really know. But there's new info on this thing every single week.
I don't know if we're going to really get a good handle on what this is all about until we drive one. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, until Ford throws some keys at me, and then I get more airtime than a skateboard at the X Games with it. Then I'm going to know what the Ford's about.
So let me ask you about the front independent suspension. There were a lot of people that were feeling kind of meh about having front independent suspension on it. Do you have thoughts about that?
Yeah, Jeep's the last holder outer with solid axle fronts. Trust me, next year at SEMA, there's going to be solid axle Broncos there. I will bet a paycheck on it right now. I mean, as long as there's not some weird COVID stuff going on again, but
I mean, of course, it doesn't necessarily need the straight axle in the front.
I don't think so. I mean, let's think about it this way. Toyota Tacomas come with like a 31 to 33 inch tire.
Mhm.
They're on independent front suspension. And then guys bump up a couple sizes to a 35. They lift them, These come factory with 35. So you're going to be able to go to like a 37 or 39 on this front suspension, probably. That is a lot of tire.
They come, and I'm sorry, I know you just said this, but they're 37 from the factory, right?
No, 35.
They're 35 from the factory.
From the factory, yes.
But you figure you'll be able to throw a 37 under stock or with a leveling kit?
No, not stock, but with a lift kit and stuff, without redoing the front suspension other than some coilovers or something. Oh yeah, you're gonna see these on 37s immediately.
Well, so I am curious. Talk to me for a second, because in the F150 world, actually, a lot of people talk about, oh, I got the leveling kit and now I can put the bigger tires on. And I mean, I understand it kind of fundamentally. You've got a little bit of a rake to the truck so that it can squat when you put something in the bed or hook it up to a trailer, and it's not going to be just riding with its nose in the air. Like, I understand that. But I mean, is this common for these vehicles where you actually have room in the back to put a bigger tire on than you do in the front, and then you have to level it out in order to put the same size tire in the front as the back?
Yeah, that's pretty common. I mean, you got to level it, or you just lift the whole thing, 3 inches and leave that rake in it. These Broncos probably don't have much rake, but
they don't look it.
I mean, they're going to fit. I mean, Ford knows guys are going to modify these, and they know People are modifying the Jeeps. The go-to tire for Jeeps kind of a 37. A lot of guys can actually fit bigger than that with just like a small lift. So, they're going to have it so that you can quite affordably lift this and put monster tires on it. Where it's going to get less affordable, that is a Dana 44 rear end in it.
Mhm.
So once you get above a 37, you're going to start having problems with that rear end.
Yeah, because
you're actually off-roading it.
Sure, you're going to need something bigger and tougher to handle like a 40-inch tire.
Yes. I mean, yeah, your days are limited if you're going bigger than a 37. Honestly, I'm sure you could break it on a 37 if you tried hard and believed in yourself.
Well, yeah, you can break almost anything if you do that. I am curious where this is going to go. I don't know. Now I'm starting to look at this. You've got me thinking about what this is going to look like on 40s.
It's going to look like a Bronco on 40. It's going to be awesome.
It's going to look like a Hot Wheels.
Yeah, good. Imagine the two-door. That's a four-door you're looking at there. Imagine a two-door on 40s.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah. It's going to look like a roller skate, but I'll still love it.
It's going to look like a modern Samurai, kind of.
Ooh, yeah.
It's kind of got the same shape and stuff. And
like
obviously it's truly a lot bigger than the old Samurais.
Right. Like when you put a 28.5-inch tire on a Samurai.
Yeah.
That's what this will look like with the 40s.
It's like 30s on Sammy. Yeah. It's like when you put baby boggers on a Sammy. That's what it'll look like.
Really impressive stuff. And a huge congratulations to the Bronco team for that win. I mean, nobody's surprised. I don't think anybody's surprised by it. But one thing that I am surprised about is their next announcement. The Ford F-150 Lightning name will return for an electric pickup. This is according to Car and Driver. I'll be honest, man. I read it when you first sent it to me. I read that, and it in no small way bumped me. In no small way.
In a large way.
In a very large way, it bumped me. But the more I'm kind of sitting here thinking about it, the more I'm like, I mean, we're looking at Tesla's stuff, the Model X on ludicrous mode, one of the fastest production vehicles you can get. I mean, it's a modern supercar killer.
So if Ford does this right, the new electric Lightning could easily be the fastest truck the world's ever seen. I mean, from the factory, you know what I mean? Easily. They do something like what Tesla's doing. They do something like the Tachyon. Okay. I mean, not even necessarily like that. They do something halfway there, and they've destroyed the fastest two-wheel drive truck production record numbers. You know what I mean?
I don't even want this thing to be two-wheel drive, to be honest. I mean, I want it to be all-wheel drive. I want it to be dual motor, 3-motor, 5-motor. How many motors can we fit in this thing?
I don't know.
And at this point, do I even really need a bed? Can we just like line the bed with flat pack lithium batteries?
I don't know how many motors I can fit in there. I know how many motors I'm going to put in it, though.
Yes, exactly.
Kind of yeah, I don't know. It could also be ultra lame. I feel like Ford was like, hey, this Lightning name was pretty good for a fast truck. It would be pretty good for an electric truck as well, because Lightning. So I kind of get where they're going with that.
And you remember the old Lightnings. Obviously, the first generation of the Lightning was very boxy. It was their F-150 from 80. Ooh, I should have looked this up, but I forget now.
I don't think they started making them until 90 or 91.
Was it 90, 91?
It is that same like 88, 89 body style.
And I can't call it a square body because square body would imply a Chevy, but you know what I'm talking about. It's back when all of those trucks looked like big slabs.
I actually prefer that Lightning. Mm-hmm. I know it's the worst Lightning, but looks wise and stuff, I prefer that.
It's very Lightning. Vintage. Yeah. I don't know that I prefer that one. I actually have a soft spot for the late 90s, early 2000s one where they got very bubbly. They had the step side in the back. Of course,
I've always hated that version of F-150.
Really?
Even the Lightning or not.
Well,
I've just hated that body style.
So I'm not a huge fan of the body style period, but I do think that the Lightning looks pretty good in this truck.
I remember vividly in my mind, I think I was in 3rd grade, and one of the other kids in my grade's dad bought a brand new Ford F-150 that was just like this, but an extra cab, and pulled in to pick her up in it. And I, as like a 3rd or 4th grader, however old I was looking at it going, gross. That truck is hideous. And I've carried that sentiment with me this entire time.
All right, that's fair. But you remember how we were talking the other day about how there are a lot of modern vehicles that are much faster than they should be?
Yes. Yes.
This actually was a very fast truck for its time. It was doing 0 to 60 runs in just over 5 seconds. It run the quarter mile in 13.8 seconds. And in 2001, that was still fast. I mean, that was considerably quicker than a lot of the other vehicles out there.
Yeah, no, these were fast, legitimately fast. I wish that they had kept making Lightnings. I mean, we have V6 turbos now that could have been a Lightning. Like,
yeah.
But maybe they can redeem themselves with an electric Lightning that's just insane mode, ludicrous mode, you know?
I do have to admit, I kind of like the whole concept of it's the right name for an electric truck. I'm just going to go ahead and say that it's the Lightning. I dig it. That works somehow. There is a certain Provence that comes with that name. So this truck can't be slow.
That's my thing. Like when I first saw this, I was like, crap, they're making the Lightning electric. And then I was like, what if it's fast though? You know?
Right.
So if this is just an all electric or a hybrid, I'm just, ugh.
Well, and that's my point. When I say it has to be fast, I don't mean they're 100% going to make it fast. I just mean in order to live up to the name, it has to be fast. If it's not fast and they call it the Lightning, I think that would be a bad move for Ford.
Now, all I could find as far as pictures was the picture in this photo of the Lightning with the crazy light grill.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if that's real or if that's a render.
Nope.
And you can never know these days.
Yeah.
These guys with the renders, these fucking nerds with their goddamn renders. I wish they'd die.
Let me ask you something real quick before you move on. Which do you hate more, the renders or the ultra realistic RC cars?
Ooh.
And in both instances, they're trying to pass it off as real.
It used to be the RC car for me, but nowadays it's the render, because the original render guy, he's having fun and he posts the picture. Oh, look, this is what the new, I wish Toto would make an MR2 like this nowadays. And then all these clickbait mother effers take that picture and go, ooh, Toyota's making a new MR2. And then you click on it and they go, this is what it could like if they did. And then we have no actual information about anything.
Yep.
Bye. Thanks for clicking on this. And I'm just like, what? Why? Somebody went to a bunch of work to make this picture, so I'd click on this, see there was no information. We're getting in the weeds though. Like you're getting my anger for these goddamn freaking rendered douchebags. Look, if you're one of these guys that's big into Photoshop and stuff, mad skill. I want you to use that skill to make your picture of you killing yourself and then try to copy that in real life, please. Because your fucking render bullshit drives me insane. Just stop it already.
All right, fair enough. Well, we'll get back on track here. Marlo says, completely agree with the gross Ford body style, Coy. So you do have someone out there that agrees with you. I'm not saying I don't agree with you, but there's just a certain amount of nostalgia I have for this body style of truck. I don't know.
Look, if I was going to have this body style of Ford truck, the only one I would drive would be the Lightning.
Sure. Okay.
Like
sure.
I could get past it because it's a Lightning. But in any other way, like you see less of this body style of Ford truck than you do like the 91s, just daily driven on the street. These are gone.
I would argue that these don't have good longevity. I don't think that they had the build quality that people quite wanted them to have. You know what I mean?
I'm not sure what happened, but I was thinking about that the other day. Just when you see old beat up Fords, that, what was it, 96 to 2000?
I think it was 98 to 2002-ish, something like that.
They're just gone. They're just, occasionally see the Lightning, but the standard trucks, they're pretty much just gone.
Yeah. Well, most people ran them into the ground, and then, a lot of them had 5.4 Tritons in them, and the 5.4 Triton is not known for its longevity.
They needed to replace a spark plug and realized, yeah.
All of a sudden, it's running on 6 cylinders instead of 8, and they're like, what is happening? Oh, it must be the cam phaser. And so they pull the cam phaser out, to great expense to you, by the way. I know a couple of guys that spent $4,000 getting the cam phasers replaced on their truck, pulled it out of the shop, and the shop's like, yeah, I don't know, it's still misfiring.
Yeah, the cam phaser, and then wasn't it the 5.4 where when you replace the spark plugs, you just planned on pulling the heads?
Yeah.
It was just like, yeah. So the spark plugs, you do it 100,000, and it's going to cost $3,000.
Yes.
Yeah.
I did see a video one time of a guy, he was alternating between ATF and Seafoam Deep Creep. And he was literally just like, okay, I'm going to dump a little in the holes here and then we're going to go and drive. And he drove it. I mean, this was over the course of like 2 weeks, but he finally got the spark plugs out, but it took over and over and over penetrating
He
oil.
basically just got hot with penetrating oil and ATF for the 3 weeks and then just went in on a wing and a prayer.
Yep.
And they all came out?
No, he broke 2 off.
Oh no, he died.
Well, at that point, he probably killed himself. You know what I mean?
I would. I certainly would kill myself.
You have something really, really interesting here that you found for the Olaf. How'd you come across this? Just looking at Car and Driver online?
I don't remember exactly how I came across this, but I was sitting here looking at this and I was just like, man, I should move to Montana.
Well, let's get into it here.
Overland is fucked!
From Car and Driver, this $12 million Montana mansion comes with a 50-car garage and its own dyno. This literally is a garage with a small mansion attached to it.
Now, and when they say garage, they didn't really preface it that this 50-car garage is underground. Under the ground. This is basically Darkwing Duck's fucking Darkwing Cave or whatever it's called.
Now, I don't like how small the photos are through Car and Driver, so let me see if we can get some bigger photos here through Zillow. These views.
You went ahead and pulled this up on Zillow, huh?
I did, yeah. Can you believe these views, Coy?
It's amazing. Like it looks like you think Montana looks like.
Let's just say they have short growing seasons.
I mean, yeah, there's 4 foot of snow, but the driveway's been plowed and the sun's been out enough that the driveway is dry asphalt, but there's 3 foot of snow anyways. The house is beautiful. It's kind of got an exposed wood look. I don't know if that actually is exposed wood, but
and it's sitting on 20 acres with this just gorgeous forest. It's kind of perched on top of this hill.
Very hilltop thing going on.
Little do you know that the hilltop was hollowed out and there's this massive underground garage in there.
Yeah, there's a Lowe's parking lot underneath there.
I just want to quickly focus on this photo here. It says main house, hot tub with its own little home that it's in, caretaker residence, tree house, guest house, utility garage, and then an entrance to the underground garages.
Now, the one thing I don't like is the distance from the actual house to my underground garage to the koi cave. That is a chunk. I would need another, not necessarily I would need a underground path from the house to the garage. I'd have to install that.
Well, that's fair enough. What about just doing maybe like an enclosed a golf cart, that's in your main garage on the main house. And then you just quickly pop that open. You're in your enclosed cab.
And then I drive it through the tunnel to the to the garage. I like where your head's at.
Well, also yes. Joseph Latotsky.
Yeah, this is Joe. I'm really not sure how his last name's. I only read it.
He says, all right, who can win this in a poker game for us? I'm on it, buddy. I'm going to work on that. Let's keep going through these photos here, Coy.
I'm going to have to put my virginity on the line, probably.
This front door is incredible. That antler chandelier is incredible.
Is that front door a glass door, but it's the log ring, like the end of a cut off log where you see the rings and stuff?
It sure looks like it.
Oh, that's cool. So freaking cool. Good. This house is awesome.
4-bed, 4-bath, 9,000 square feet. So plenty of room to roam.
I like how they appropriated all the culture from the natives. There's another door.
Mm-hmm.
Another one. I'm going to go DJ Khaled right now. Another one.
I like the little minibar setup. Now, granted, it's a little bit 80s, but, for the aesthetic for being in Montana, I think this is fine. The wood grain stuff, I'm not into the wood grain really in homes, but I'm okay with it given the setting.
I love wood grain. regardless of setting. Now the Tonka truck blue going on in the cabinets, a little much for a $12 million house, but everything else I'm digging.
You'll notice though that the Tonka truck blue runs into the garages, and so I think there might be kind of some part of that there.
Like nice
full
gym
gym,
here.
yeah.
Full gym.
And again, you guys, if you're listening on the pod, feel free to open the link underneath to this listing. Check out these photos because they're incredible and immaculate. Oh, there's your poker room.
Yep, that's where we play the game and stuff.
Mm-hmm. Looks like there's some kind of a loft that you can get up onto.
Yep.
All right, now we're starting to get to some of the garages here. That's the utility garage. Oh, wow. That's a lot bigger than it looked in that first photo.
Yeah, that's a fairly large tractor. I
With
don't
the snowblower
think
on
that we
front.
mentioned this has its own gas station as well.
We're getting to that.
Yeah,
We're
yeah.
getting to that. So here is the main entrance of the garage. If I'm not mistaken, this is where the dyno cell is
Mhm.
and one of the lifts. And yeah, there's an old-timey looking gas pump out front with its own 1,000-gallon cistern underneath of it.
Yeah.
Everything a grown boy needs. We got some great photos with his car collection. He's obviously a Chevy guy.
Yeah, I think that's clear.
It has a Tesla quick charge station. This is in the underground parking garage.
In the
now.
underground lair, there's a Tesla quick charge station.
That dyno cell, that is so cool looking. Now, here's a caveat, you guys. I'm sorry to be the bearer of bad news. It's only a 2-wheel drive.
I don't care. All-wheel drives have drive shafts that can be disconnected, and I don't really care for all-wheel drive for the most part. So,
Hater.
most of the cars I collect won't be all-wheel drive.
Let me see here. We're looking at the underground parking garage and 2 rows of 4-post lifts.
So this is a
4, 5,
25 car garage, but then he has lifts for every car, so we can park one underneath it.
Probably something like that. Yeah.
That's almost more impressive though.
Mm-hmm.
I don't have 50 or 20,
Yeah.
I don't have 10 cars.
Yeah.
So I kind of thought that I honestly have 3 cars in here in a go-kart track, but these posts is going to kind of put a hurting on that.
Nah, we can weave in between them because keep in mind those posts are probably 6 feet
Well, I
apart.
guess if we just run all those into the up position and then we just saw them around steel posts.
Exactly.
What could go wrong?
Steel posts that have cars on them.
Yeah. Like, there's literally no downside.
Oh my gosh, look at this water filtration system. Holy smokes.
See, I don't know why that's impressive. That just tells me that they have really, really bad water in that well. I'm always confused when people show pictures of that.
Well, he is on top of a rock mountain.
That usually makes it good water.
Depending on how far down you drill, I guess. The electrical panels are impressive here, but you'll notice the Tonka truck blue has kind of been a recurring theme with all of his cabinetry. I'm curious about this room, Coy. Is this a detail room, a dedicated detail room?
It is an inside underground indoor washroom.
So for those of you listening on the pod, it's got a giant roll-up door. The floor is tile and it's raised. So there's some cabinets on the right-hand side, but they're all raised up. So this thing looks like it could literally be filled with water, probably a good 4 or 5 inches before it would damage anything. But it's got this monster drain right in the center. Indoor hose, pressure washer, the whole thing.
Tile floor. Yeah.
Yeah, tile floor.
Yeah, no, this is, imagine like a walk-in shower, but big enough for probably 2 or 3.
Again, more of the gorgeous views. This house is just incredible. Oh, there's the hot tub right there. Again, I'm kind of with you, Coy. Some of these amenities you have to go out into the snow to get into. The hot tub might be an exception here because it might be nice submerging yourself in that hot tub after you've now had to run naked through the snow.
Yeah. That's, I at first said, why would I want to run that far to the hot tub? And then it's, that's kind of the foreplay though. You're
right.
Like, go, ooh, ah, ooh, and then you get there and
you haven't completely lost your erection, but it is going to put a damper on it.
Yeah, but it makes it's that much more exciting.
That's what I mean. Yeah. There, because that way there's no just like jumping in the hot tub and
you got to
right
work
with
for it a little bit.
Right.
Tease.
And if you're already drunk and you trip forward into the snow, now there's a little bit more incentive.
Yes. You try have to swim through the snow the rest of the way there.
Honestly, this would be a great house for me because, you know, with my neck injury, I have to ice and heat alternate.
Mm-hmm. You just literally open and close a window.
Well, I was thinking I get drunk and I fall into the snow, and then I get in the hot tub, which reinvigorates my drunkenness, and then I fall back into the snow. Ice heat, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, this place is amazing. I do want to do a little bit of a deal or doob here. Let's think about this for a second. $12 million. What would $12 million get you here in Oregon? It would probably get you a pretty sizable ranch.
You know,
it's not going to get an underground garage. I understand that.
The underground lair is half the price on this. Like, I don't know exactly what it costs to build a large underground space like that, but that's pretty insane.
Here's my other question. How much shit's actually happening in Big Sky, Montana that you would need this? I mean, just hear me out for a second. If this same house was in Arizona, or if it was in Florida, you know, I feel like that might make a little bit more sense. Texas, maybe, because you've got speedways around. It's always nice weather. That would be a car guy's dream. But this is literally in the home of deep snow skiing.
I feel like I can answer this question, and it's not going to be as satisfying as you'd like.
Okay.
This is a $12 million dream home.
Yeah.
Somebody in California went to build one of these, realized that it would cost him, let's see, I don't know, $58,000 a year in property taxes, and was like, wow, I can buy a lot of airplane tickets for that kind of money, and realized he could live in Montana on top of a mountain with, you know, no houses in sight except for the caretaker and guest home that he owned, and have his whole collection there and do all the things he'll want, and then just catch a plane back to whatever his concrete business is or something, wherever the heck he's from, and just do it that way. I about guarantee you it was something like that.
I'm sure you're right. I just, at this price, I would expect it to have like a helipad or something.
Yeah, there's where you're going to fly to in a helicopter in Montana? Utah?
To an airport? You know?
Yeah, I mean, I guess, but this guy's clearly a car guy. Maybe he liked the freaking drive from the airport.
That's a good point. Yeah.
He wanted to drive through the snow. I don't know.
Maybe it's someone who valued their solitude, but they also valued their car collection.
Clearly, he liked those two things.
I'm not sure about that 12 mil. I just don't know. I don't know if this area, I don't know anything about Montana.
See, why my biggest reason for thinking this is the caretaker home. It's fucking snow, dude. What's to take care of? Like, caretakers usually just take care of the landscaping, you know?
Oh, so what you're saying is clearly he's not around very often.
Yeah, he's not there that much. This dude washes the cars and keeps the place up, but this dude's, you know, jet setting.
So I'm actually going to contradict myself because I'm just starting to realize we still have Zillow open. You guys can't see it, but I've got it open. And there are no homes under $2 million in this entire area. 3.1, 3.5, 4.75, 7.8, 5.25, 1.8 million, 22 million, $22 million for this other home over here. What is that? $22 million. All right. We gotta do this. I know, but I promise you this is not off in the weeds. We're doing a little reconnaissance here.
We live in Oregon. We have to flee soon.
Look at this giant log cabin, Coy.
When you say log cabin, like those pillars are actually the base of trees.
Yeah, like California redwoods.
Wow. This house is all stone and legit trees.
Yeah.
I know you were saying you didn't care for like the wood look.
This is pretty dope though.
This isn't too bad. Like, I like the wood look, and this is the way there's arched doorways, but they're hewn into a log wall.
Yeah, it looks like they built the log wall and then cut out the doorways.
I'm near certain that's what they did. I don't see how else you do that.
It is a bit dated. I mean, all of the colors are, you know, 80s, early 90s maybe. And don't get me wrong, this is a beautiful, beautiful home.
He had a zebra skin rug there.
I'm not
like
really
that.
seeing why this is $22 million, though.
He must own the whole mountain.
He must. Oh, so normally you hear of price decreases. This has actually had a price increase.
They bumped it up. They're like, no, we priced it too low.
Yeah, February 11th, they bumped it $5.5 million, Coy.
Threw another 5 on there.
Oh, here we go. It's 490 acres.
Yeah. Well, places I will never own. Go ahead and throw that on the list.
All right. Well, so now we're starting to understand, like, this is a home that's built among super expensive homes. And it just happens to be.
And it's actually middle of the road price wise.
Mm-hmm.
So you wouldn't have the nicest house on the block.
No, you're actually going to have people touring this place. They're like, meh.
It's all right.
Yeah.
Where's the third guest home? Like, what if you have multiple guests?
I'm sorry. There's not a tunnel from the house to the underground garage. Wow.
You just walk through the snow?
Dropped the ball. I wouldn't give him a dime over 11 million.
Lame.
But yeah, listen, if you're into overlanding, I mean, Big Sky, Montana can't be a bad place to do it. Obviously, this dude was into cars, but if you were into trucks, holy smokes, this thing would absolutely be a car guy's dream.
Yeah, I would just literally have tanks and zombies and stuff in that underground.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
What did you call it? The Coy Cave?
Coy Cave.
Overland is fucked!
There it is. That's our Olaf of the week. I'm really impressed with this house. It's cool to look at, but I could never, ever imagine buying a place like that.
Let
could
me
you?
throw this out there and tell me if you're on board with this.
Okay.
If you had the underground, car lair.
Yeah.
Just right off the bat, right when you like first walked in, I would make it so it looked like an insane sex dungeon, but then you'd walk another 12 feet and turn the corner and then it's the car garage, just because everybody would walk in and just see like crazy leather and spikes and just, hardcore stuff that you see on like, Criminal Minds and shit.
Yeah.
And just tell everybody it was a sex dungeon, but really I just had a sweet car collection back there.
Okay, so what if you had kind of a smaller section that was your sex dungeon, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then you walk over to the mannequin in a gimp suit and you tug on the string sticking out the front, and by front, you know what I'm talking about. You tug on that string and then a door swings open to reveal your 50 car garage.
So it's like the piano to open the back cave, but instead I have a gimp phallus.
Yes.
Gotcha. No, I would totally do that. Sounds amazing.
So when you walk up, it looks like the gimp has a cod piece on. It's just this upward angle, and you grab it and turn it sideways.
Just snap it off.
It needs a speaker where it goes.
I would be like a little kid. I just open and close that.
Just constantly all the time. All right, man. We got to move on. We're doing okay on time, but I do want to talk about our Smoking Dealer Smoking a Doob of the week. This is something that I found, and quite frankly, I'm on the fence.
Smoking deal or smoking a doobie.
Coy, this thing is like every kid from the mid 2000s wet dream. You know that, right?
Yes. This thing is crazy.
This is a 2006 Pontiac Solstice that was custom built and sponsored by Castrol in 2006. So this was a new car that was then completely redone.
They commissioned to have it built. It was built. I did a little bit of research. This was built for some kind of, I don't know if it was a magazine or TV show type build off competition type thing.
Well, it's just ridiculous looking. It's absolutely ridiculous looking. The body kit is so gaudy.
It is. Well, it's actually not that gaudy for the time it was in.
Well,
I mean,
so it has the body kit where the wheel arches actually wrap around the wheel.
Kind of a veal side thing going on.
And then now that we're looking at the side view here, look at this hardtop. There's something about the lines on that just don't quite work for me, but it's still got this weird, cool nostalgia factor.
What I couldn't figure about the hardtop is it looks like there's a jet engine port in the back of it, but I'm not sure what's going on there.
In the back of it?
Yeah, look at the first picture.
Oh, yeah.
Look up there. I don't know. Is that a window?
Yeah, that's your window.
But it's the shape is so. And what's the point of the window? So you don't, in case someone's standing directly behind in a 2-foot, because then there's a window, but then it's like you're looking out a porthole. Basically, if you're looking out a 6-foot tube that was 12 inches diameter, because it's covered on the side. So there's a 10-degree pencil beam of width that you can see behind you. This wide body kit, though, man, 10 inches wider in the rear and 8 inches wider in the front, I believe is what it said.
I do like the front. So the front hood is very cool. It's got there's vents that dive down in front of the engine to help scoop the air out. That's very cool. It is weird to see how much space there is behind the bumper with just nothing.
Yeah.
That is a very 2006 kind of a thing. And I can't help but be bumped a little bit because you can see the core support right there. You can see the cross member in the front.
Yeah, this should have a V-mount radiator intercooler setup. If there was ever a time and place to do it with that hood scoop and all that space, that would be it.
But again, this is a very, it's this weird lime green. It's, the Castrol GTX oil bottle color. It's wow. It's got a look, man. I don't even know quite how to describe it. It's so cheesy, but so cool at the same time. Those of us that grew up with the Fast and the Furious.
And it's got a Hot Wheels look going on.
Yeah.
And I would almost bet money that there is a Hot Wheels of this car.
Oh,
I would not be surprised at all. This car was front page on a magazine. So I went through the comments and the dude has the magazine. It was Performance and Audio, which was a kind of a super streety. They went out of business or got bought out or something somewhere in there when audio kind of started to fall off. But yeah, so it was front page centerfold in a magazine.
Here's how else you can tell that it's a 2006 build. Stock seats.
Yeah, no, the interior is exactly as the factory left it.
There's something going on with the dash here because you've got a tachometer that's protruding, out the center. But everything else looks deliciously stock. It looks like it came from the factory this way.
Just a shift knob and a huge tack.
I am a little curious about what's going on here. There's a wiring harness plugging into something that must be the EMS down here, but it's just sort of hanging out and chilling in the footwell.
Yeah, it looks almost like it had some double-sided sticky that held it up behind the dash that gave away or something.
Yeah. Now, here's a photo of the motor. It has a V-mount. I'm just now realizing that, but it's not far enough forward that you can really see it in the front.
Interesting.
But that is a tasty, tasty looking motor. Let's go through the description here. Again, 2006 Solstice, custom built and sponsored by Castrol. It has a 2-liter crate motor, stroke to a 2.2, so it's a 2.2, great motor. GE forged pistons, GE wrist pins, GM performance connecting rods, GM performance neutral balance shaft, high performance cams with adjustable cam gears. So fully built motor. It's got a TD05 20G turbocharger. Boy, that's not something I've heard for a long time. The 16G and 20G turbos used to be the upgrades for the Evos. Remember that?
Yep.
Vibrant performance piping, custom Han Racing V-mount, Turbo Smart Megasonic blow-off valve. Is that the one that sounds like a sword unsheathing?
I'm not sure with Megasonic. I can't remember. There were some cool sounding ones back then. Now they all sound like crap.
Yeah.
Back then, there was one that literally sounded like an orca, like just crazy sounding. I loved that one.
Yeah. I had a super sequential blow-off valve on my Protege, and it had a very unique sound, which was actually, I shouldn't say unique. It was just loud. It was like the loudest whistle you've ever heard.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's like, the people that put their pinkies to their mouth and they whistle.
Yeah.
Imagine just a little bit more airflow, but then that super high pitched. And it used to piss people off so much. If I was driving by and you had your window down, they had their window down, and I shifted and that super loud blow off valve went off, it would scare the shit out of people.
There was another one. I don't remember. It sounded like a broody peacock. It'd be like,
Yeah, a broody peacock.
It had this weird sound. It was like, yeah, there was some cool blow off valves. Now they all just pshaw. Everybody just wants like, sorry, I want some noise. I don't just want air dump.
You want some flair. You want some class.
Yeah.
What happened to the class, boys?
Speaking of peacocking,
speaking of cod pieces, GM Performance aluminum intake manifold, GM CNC Sportsman ported head. Setup can handle up to 30 pounds of boost. They probably ran it at 14. GM Performance fuel rail, UMI racing fuel injectors, complete custom made 3-inch exhaust, vibrant high performance catalytic converter, mega squirt, micro squirt. A micro squirt. It seems like with all the work they put into this, they would have gone with something better than that.
Well, this would have been, pushing 20 years ago.
Yeah, but they couldn't have put in like an AEM EMS, a Haltech Platinum Sport.
There was a budget to this somewhere,
Well, normally your budget's not the EMS.
Well, their budget wasn't the motor, the body kit. Like, where are you going to budget?
Bro, I've got a fully built KA24 turbo in my S13. That's right. Yep. Fully built. I've got a GT45 turbo. Nice. I got it off of a diesel truck, one of those Cummins ones.
Yeah, but that rolls coal.
Oh yeah. My girl's going to be Cummins tonight. That's for sure. Ask me what EMS I'm running.
What EMS, what kind of management you got on that?
Oh, I've got an Apexy.
Oh, like a piggyback?
It says Neo on it, so it's got to be good.
You got a fuel controller?
I'm just keeping it easy, man.
You could have got a Gretty. Like, at least you could have just got in there a little bit more. A Neo? Really?
No. It's going to be fine. All you got to do is control.
All you got to do is control fuel trims. That's all you can control.
Okay, here's how I control my timing. You see this? I'm moving my distributor cap back and forth.
Oh,
good. You see how that works? Yeah. That's timing.
Yeah, good.
Do you not understand anything about cars?
Yeah. Well, your timing isn't the only thing that's boost friendly around here. If you know what I
mean. All right, let's finish this thing off. We've got again, I'm sorry, I'm blown away that this thing is running a micro squirt standalone ECU.
I like that he still has those Goodyear flame pattern tires on it that were kind of that time.
Yes. I had a set of those.
I did too.
Those were great tires for their time.
They were good rain tires.
Yeah. But overall, they weren't bad. They were a good street tire.
Yeah.
They weren't good at autocross.
They were a decent tire.
Stage 5 clutch, one-off custom built, 12-piece body kit, 8 inches wider in the front, and 10 inches wider in the rear. This car is wider than a Hummer H2.
Holy crap. I'd love to see this in person.
Coy, we haven't talked about the price yet. You want to go ahead and let the ladies and gentlemen know?
20,000 even.
20 G's for this bad mamma jamma. They're estimating the horsepower to be somewhere around 550.
Did it say the mileage?
It says 3,000 kilometers.
That seems, I'm guessing it is low mileage, so.
Oh, full disclosure, this is in Canada.
So, we got to go out there and just say that right now, a 2006 Pontiac Solstice with low mileage is going to be probably a little sub 10 grand. I don't think you're going to find one less than 6. You're not going to find one more than 12, though. So half of the price of this car is just the car.
Right.
So bear that in mind. So just ask yourself, is there $10,000 worth of stuff on this car?
Honestly, as ridiculous as the body kit looks, as ridiculous as all of it is, Coy, I'm having a hard time calling this a Doob, honestly, because there is just something so funky and so cool looking about this. And at the end of the day, this does have some performance parts. If it were my car, I would do something about that EMS. I'd want something that could control a little bit more. It's already got the mega squirt wiring, so I would just upgrade the micro squirt to like a PNP 3. something that has full control, something that's got a wider range. Because I'm pretty sure the Micro Squirt has a 12 by 12 tuning table for both ignition and fuel. And if you went with the PNP 3, then you'd have a 24 by 24 tuning table. So you'd be able to fine tune a little bit better.
Let's read some of these comments here, see what else going on.
Oh, do we have some opinions up here? Ryan Frisbee says that motor looks amazing, not going to lie. Jake Jaden says trade for a green wide body LS 124SX. You know what? The prices are starting to meet in the middle.
Yeah. Yeah. So here's my thing. There's two ways you could go about this. You could just get this and try and turn it into a full race car. I don't think that's where this, I mean, it does have a mass, like it's kind of there. It's got a massive wide body, but like you're going to have to get after this wide body with a Sawzall. The other thing is I get this and I put it in the car collection and I basically let this sit and I pull it back out. I break the glass on this in 20 years.
You've paid $20,000 for it. And now you're keeping it for the next 20 years.
Yes.
Okay.
I mean, it's in my collection. This is not me now. This is just me with some money.
And you're going to start it once in a while. It's not going to get driven a whole ton, but it may go to a few car shows, get rolled on and off of the trailer.
That's what I'm saying. I may drive it to a meter show every so often. I'm going to keep it in condition.
Right.
Probably not going to do anything to it. Maybe address the ECU. And in 20 years, just pull it out. Like it'd be kind of a cool history piece almost.
And it'd be worth every bit of $15,000.
You're never going to make, this isn't an investment for money, but as a collector, this to me, for the kind of weird JDM, at my age, this has value in a collection to me. I'm like, if I had a collection of cars, I would love to have a Castrol, one of the Castrol built cars. Cause they do this every so often.
You would park this right next to that Gary and Ace ambiguously gay duo car, the tricycle from a couple of weeks ago. Yeah.
I would probably park it right next to my Castrol All-Track Celica.
Ooh, yeah.
And then I'd have this and I'd be like, this is the same company and this is what they're capable of doing. This and this. Like it would be a lesson to children. I'd be like, they built this for Rod Millen and they built this for a magazine.
Yeah.
This is the same company. So as a human being, this is the heights we're capable of and the lows.
Ryan Frisbee says it's kind of ugly but unique. You can't help but love it. I'm kind of in the same boat that he is. There's something about this that I love. I don't think I'd be tandeming with anybody, but it would be hilarious to get this thing out on a drift track.
Yeah, no, I get that.
That'd be the easiest and quickest way to ruin that wide body kit and put even more money into it that you didn't want to spend.
Well, I mean, since it's one off too. And clearly the guy that built it's in Canada. And from some of the research I was looking, I think that the team that built this died or something. There were some RAPs in the comments, so I'm not sure. I'm not sure. There was part of a conversation that I couldn't read or something, but it was there was something going on that happened in the build of this.
It's ugly, but I don't think they deserve to die. Jeez.
Wow.
I'm just saying, like,
I think it's cool. I can't say it's a Doob, but I can't solidly say that this is a deal. I think it's unique and I think it's cool. And I think 20,000 is kind of,
you think it's in the ballpark, huh?
It's a touch high, but it's not out of the question. Like if somebody said, yeah, I paid 18 for it, I went up and looked at it, I'd be like, okay, that's about what I would think.
Yeah.
So for them to ask for this, for me, I think they're right on the money for their asking price. I think they're going to get talked down.
Yeah.
$2,000. I don't know their situation. If somebody walked away with it for 16, I'd be like, yeah, you got hell yeah.
Yeah.
At 16, I would be like, I want to go look at it.
Right.
So, thinking that they're going to get, just running those numbers in my head, I think they're asking prices about where they should start asking.
I think you're right. I agree with everything that you just said because I'm pretty much landing in the same vein.
At 16, I'm like, I should have talked to the guy.
Right.
Why didn't I message him? At 18, I'm like, that's about what it should go for. So asking 20, I think that's a good spot to start. So
yeah, I agree with that. I can't solidly call this a deal, but I also can't call it a doob. I think somebody's going to buy this car and
destroy it.
Yeah.
No, they're gonna buy it, and there's a 17-year-old that buys this, and he just fucking thrashes it.
Are there any 17-year-olds, 18-year-olds that are going to want something that looks like
this?
this?
Is in Canada. They're
good point.
They're like 8 years behind.
Yeah, 8 to 10. Yeah. Well, somebody's going to buy it, and somebody's going to enjoy the shit out of it until they completely ruin it. It's so unique. Did it say how big the wheels were on this? Are those 20s?
They got to be bigger than 20s. They look like 26s. Like those are at least 22s.
Yeah, they kind of have to be, right?
Yeah, they're monstrous.
Well, the good news here is we've got performance tires that are available in those sizes now, because those bigger sizes are starting to become more and more common.
Yeah. No, this car is catching up. Time is catching up with this car, where you could build this into a race car without a ton of work.
The problem that I see is, once again, we're going back to the custom built wide body. This custom wide body was built around the size of these wheels. So going up or down in size, up is not going to happen because this is custom built for that size. Down you can do, but it is going to look goofy as shit.
Like I said, you got to get after it with a little bit of sawzall action and take that bottom, finish the circle part off. If you wanted to go full race car with this, like, you could, but I don't think that's not the right move.
No. Would you ever foresee someone buying this, taking the motor out and putting in like an LS3?
Yeah. No, I can. If you really loved this, yeah, you absolutely could. I mean, especially I feel like if you're a drifter and you had kind of some, you already had your drift car, but you wanted like a fancy drift car. Buying this, pulling that motor, selling it, and LS swapping this, and then just once in a while taking this out to the track and just getting sideways.
And you know what? Maybe hang on to that original motor and all of the other accessories, to be able to restore it back to what it was at the competition. I don't know if there'd be any value in doing that, but that might just be something that you could do. I'm just thinking a 600 or 700 horsepower V8 in this, I think, is going to work a little bit better than the high strung 2.2 liter.
Oh, absolutely. And it's super easy to LS swap these. They're basically designed to be LS swapped. And even more so now that he's added 6 inches, 6 inches wider up front. So
is it fair to say that I'm surprised it's not LS swapped? Because when these came out, one of the big, I shouldn't say selling points, but Pontiac made no bones about it. They were like, by the way, an LS fits in this. I mean, they said that right off the bat.
Everybody, because that hood popped forward on these, and they didn't really have fender wells. They just had plastic that you could kind of like I believe it had pins that held it in.
Right.
So the fender wells just came out, and it was just like, yeah, you can fit whatever you want to put under this.
I feel like it wasn't even a year before they started putting LSs in these when they came out.
Oh, I don't think it was. I bet it was far less than a year.
Yeah, exactly. So I'm a little bit surprised that this didn't have that. Again, it's Canada. It's Canada, and it was for a sound and performance magazine. So, they're probably trying to capture a little bit more of the tuner crowd by keeping it a 4-cylinder. But I mean, truly, if somebody wanted to throw a V8 in this and then actually use it a little bit, that could be a really, really fun car.
Meaty.
So you guys out there, let us know. Is it a deal? Is it a doob? We're feeling like it's somewhere in between. I mean, it's really sitting on the fence for both of us right now. So if you have certain thoughts or opinions about this car, drop them down in the comments. Let us know what you think about this rig, because honestly, I'm really on the fence. I'm with you, Coy. If it was 16,000, we'd probably be driving over to see it right now.
Smoking deal or smoking a doobie.
It just reminds me of so many of the cars. It's like an over-the-top version of what people were trying to build in 2003-4.
Yeah. So this is a Pontiac version of the Tokyo Drift RX-7.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's just that, we're going to go nuts. It's barely even the same car.
Yeah. Was that a Vale? No, that wasn't Valeside.
I think it was Valeside.
Was it?
Pretty sure. It wasn't the original Valeside RX-7 that was in like the first one.
No, but it was that white Tokyo Drift car.
Orange and black, I believe.
Orange and black?
Yeah. Orange and black. You can Google it. It's super popular. I'm almost certain it's Veal.
Well, we're not going to go into all that. We'll sort it out in the Facebook group, which you guys need to come and check out, by the way. If you're not part of the Facebook group, please feel free to come and join. It's facebook.com/groups/the Horsepower Hour podcast. We have a ton of activity over there. People are so cool. So many projects being traded, so many cars that are for sale. Just, I think earlier today, as a matter of fact, wasn't it Benjamin Allred that posted? No, excuse me. It was, yeah, I forget who it was. Sorry. I apologize. But if you come and check it out, there's a listing for a sweet turbo coupe Thunderbird, one of the 2.3 liter turbo ones with a 5-speed manual. I legit want to go and look at this thing. Some of the
I didn't
neatest
see a price on that, but if it was cheap enough, wow, that's a gambler.
It can't be a lot. Oh, it's a Ben over at PPI.
Yes.
Yeah, because they're building their kind of wish list of crap can cars.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I want this thing super bad. As a matter of fact, I think he called it a restoration project. And I just told him, Ben, I want this car, but restoration's not what's going to be happening. It's going to be maybe more of like a decomposition. You understand what I'm talking about?
It's going to be a salvage project.
Or at least it will be when I'm done. That's for sure. Yeah.
It's not
you're right,
salvage,
by the way.
Salvage commissioned, you know.
Orange and black FD3S with a veil side wide body kit. Thanks, Jake.
That's what I said it was. What do you mean? Thanks, Jake. Thank me.
Thank you, Coy, and thank you, Jake, for backing him up. I thought for some reason it was white.
Yeah, I don't know what you're thinking.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm probably thinking of the main actor. So please go and check out that Facebook group. Check us out, facebook.com/the Horsepower Hour. If you want to get a hold of Coy, you can reach him there. Just say something about, hey, Coy, I have a grievance that I would like to air with you. And then we'll talk about you on the show and make fun of you. Yeah. It's going to be a really good time.
Like, if you seriously want to challenge me to a duel, I'm down. Like, I'll do it.
It's a battle of wits, not a battle of fisticuffs.
Well, I mean, we'll talk about
it. Just to let y'all know, he fights dirty, so I wouldn't do that. Coy, good episode as always. Thank you for being here, my friend. Please do reach out to Coy. There's no reason not to. Send us a message and just say, Coy, love what you do. Hopefully it's bigger than it looks on camera.
That you can say that, or you can just leave a review. Once again, guys, give us some reviews on the iTunes and our Facebook page, or however, whatever modality you're listening to this podcast. Try and drop us a review, please.
Please and thank you. We love you for it. And for Coy Forticus, Sin Masterson, Junior, Senior, Esquire, Duke of Earl Grey, this is Andy. We will see you next time.